Hi everyone, my name is Okunla Daniel, and I'm here to discuss the Nigerian elites and how they have betrayed Nigeria. As you all know, our economy is in shambles. And why is that? We might ask ourselves. Well, the reason is very simple. It's quite obvious that logistics has become a headache for ordinary Nigerians who are engaged in economic activities. How can you have a healthy economy when the citizens don't have access to reliable and affordable energy, and that is fuel? Because everything that runs in the economy relies on logistics, and if logistics is too expensive, then goods and services will also be expensive. No wonder a farmer that goes to his or her farm to harvest yam comes out to sell it at an astronomical price. You don't have to blame them. Some people might say, after all, it's just a yam that he or she cultivated in his or her farm. Why should he sell it at such an unreasonable price? Well, the reason is very simple. Don't forget that after producing this yam, you have to move it out from the farm and into the market. You're not going to carry it on your head. It has to be moved with the use of vehicles, and those vehicles, they run on fuel. So it's quite understandable. You don't have to blame them. The people that should be taking the blame are our so-called elites, because they appear to be one of the worst set of people. And no country survives with this type of people, so to speak. No country survives with this type of elite. They are one of the worst kind of elites that you can, wish on any country. Yes, that is the fact. That is the truth. But be it as it may, we have to live with it. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a choice. We have to make do with what we have. Yeah, and because of this, the economy is in shambles. The economy is in shambles, and the reasons are obvious. I've just stated the elephant in the room, which is the price of petroleum. There are other underlying factors as well, like our power generating capacity. It's quite unfortunate that a country like Nigeria has a power generating capacity that is less than 10% of that of small countries in Europe like Hungary. It's regrettable, it's a pity. But this is what we have to live through. And when you talk about it, they will just shun it. They will just tell you that, well, we don't have the financial capacity to increase our power generating capacity. Well, this is a lie, a very big lie. Because we all know that every year Nigeria generates billions of dollars worth of revenue. So you cannot tell your citizens that you cannot fix or increase or improve your power generating capacity because of lack of funds. That's a lie. That's a lie. Even poorer countries are capable of doing these things. So if poorer countries can improve their power generating capacity, I don't see what's stopping Nigeria from being able to do the same. Except we know it all comes back to the fact that we have a greedy set of people we call elites. They are just too greedy, too greedy to see beyond their personal ambitions and self interest, unfortunately. But be it as it may, we have what we have. That's the reality of Nigeria today. Poverty has now become a part of the reality of most Nigerians. And in most cases, you can even call it extreme poverty, because that's what it is. When someone cannot afford to put food on his table, he is not just poor, he's wretched. But yeah, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Because the country is in a downward spiral. And therefore, even the citizens are also experiencing the same syndrome. But that's just the way it is. That's the way that our elites have made things to look. But be it as it may, we still need to believe that somehow one day we are going to get principled, or should I say reasonable people in positions of power, hopefully. Though my hope is running thin. I really can't say. It's each passing year it's becoming more and more difficult for me to entertain hope. But you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Corruption has become a tradition, as laughable as it sounds, but that's true. Corruption is now a tradition. And when you come to a place where tradition is celebrated, it's abnormal. Where right is wrong and wrong is right. White is black and black is white. It's absurd. But that's the reality of today. It's Nigeria, unfortunately. Some of the elites who has found themselves in positions of power create companies. Once they are elected into positions of power, they create like the position of being a governor. They create companies out of thin air just for the period while they are still in that position. And why do they do this? Well, the reason is very simple. You create a construction company, and then all state contracts are awarded to this so-called construction company. You siphon the funds of the state, you make the people's purse dry while you are still there as the governor. And then once you leave that position, the company disappears as well. Or should I say, the company leaves as well. It no longer exists. No one is going to question you. I mean, who will? According to the law, you've done nothing wrong. It's you can a company can come into existence and go out of existence whenever it chooses. Well, because our constitution isn't really that strong. It's not that voluminous. It's a very thin constitution that doesn't really cover so many areas. But yeah, these are criminal activities that shouldn't be happening in the first place, that shouldn't exist. But unfortunately, it's happening, and there is nothing that we average people can do about it. At least for now. But hopefully, maybe tomorrow or some time in the future, well-principled people can come into positions of power and take care of these things, fix these loopholes. But for the time being, we have to make do with what we have. In most advanced countries, the word, the industrialization, is now being repeatedly spoken. But when we hear the industrialization, we tend to, ponder on it because they are talking about the industrializing when countries like Nigeria haven't even really started industrializing. That should worry you if you're an average Nigerian citizen. You should really be worried. You need to be really worried. But yeah, it is what it is, man. There's nothing we can do about it for now. Because our political system was designed in such a way that makes change nearly impossible. You can't really change anything. But to pass relevant laws, you need to go through the Senate House. And unfortunately, we know that these senators are not going to pass laws that works against them. They won't really support it. It won't happen. It's dead on arrival. Except we, go through the necessary, should I say, system of participatory democracy, which is to bypass the Senate and go directly to the people in form of a referendum. When we talk about referendums, people do think that it's about the division of Nigeria, or no. Why would you want to divide Nigeria? It's better to have a bigger country than to have little countries here and there that can be easily picked off by foreign interest. No, it's better for us to have a Nigeria that is big and diverse in nature. But at the same time, it has to be a Nigeria that works for all. A Nigeria that respects its peoples and citizens. A Nigeria that derives its strength from its diversity and multi ethnicity. But that's the type of Nigeria that we thrive. But unfortunately, our greedy elites, they have destroyed the concept of Nigeria. From an outside observer, you can't help yourself but come to a conclusion that currently our country, Nigeria, has no direction, no focus, no purpose. And that is absurd. In today's world,